Recently, IRCC released two new pilot programs, which are RCIP and FCIP. In this video, we will discuss about RCIP, the participating community in RCIP, when it is going to start, and the eligibility criteria. We will also see the Susan Mary website regarding RCIP. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. And without any further delay, let's get started.
On January 30th, IRCC announced the launch of Rural Community Immigration Pilot and the Francophone Community Immigration Pilot, and the community chosen to participate. This pilot will have 18 communities with a permanent resident pathway to attract and retain newcomers who can fill key jobs and who want to live long term in these areas. RCIP ensures that the rural community have access to the program that addresses labor shortages and help local businesses to find workers they need. Each selected community is represented by local community development organization, which will work with IRCC to identify its critical labor gaps, designated trustworthy employers, and recommended suitable candidates to IRCC for permanent resident, which means that economical development organization, which in short we can consider as a city will come up with their labor shortages, where they will share the knock codes which they think city is required, and I think they will share the list of employers as well which will participate in this program, and city will come up with their own eligibility criteria along with federal criteria similar to what RNIP have. RNIP have the federal criteria and they have city criteria as well, and so similar process we're gonna see for RCIP as well. IRCC has begun training the economical development organizations, and each community will provide details and timelines on when employers and prospective permanent resident candidate can expect to have their chance to apply. More information will be coming from the city, where they will communicate more information about the program and the timelines when the employer or the candidate can apply for this program. These are the communities which will participate in RCIP, and these are the communities for FCIP. For more information, please see our website. So we'll go to the website, and these are the participating communities, and we want to see the eligibility criteria. So right here, immigrate to rural community. RCIP offers permanent resident to skilled workers who want to work and settle in rural and more remote communities. So there are 14 communities under RCIP, and let's see what is the eligibility criteria. To apply for permanent resident through RCIP, you must have a valid job offer from a designated employer in the community. This means you should have a job offer from the recognized employer, or if city provides a list of employers, your employer must be included in that list, or your employer is registered with city. A candidate should have at least 1 year or 1,560 hours of related work in the past 3 years. So what counts as related work experience? We'll click here. Your work experience must be in the knock list and tier list. Include the action listed in the description of your knock and include most of the main duties. So your past work experience should be listed in knock, and the roles and responsibilities of your past experience should match with the knock which you falls under. And if your job offer letter is of tier 0 and 1, your past experience should be in tier 0, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, if your current job offer is under tier 2, your past experience should be under 1, 2, 3, and 4. And likewise. Work experience exemption if you studied and graduated in the community. Let's click this. If you are an international student, you don't have to show 1 year of experience. So what is the eligibility criteria of international student? An eligible credential in a program of 2 years or longer, and you studied full time for the entire program. You should not be a part time student for this program. If you are a part time student, you are not an international student. Second point is got your credentials no more than 18 months before applying for PR. This means that your gap between your completion of studies and applying to PR or applying to RCIP, it should not be more than 18 months. If it is more than 18 months, then you are not an international student. But still you can apply for RCIP, but you have to show 1 year of experience. The last point is you should be in the community for at least 16 of the last 24 months while studying. For example, you have 2 years course or 24 months course, you should be in the same community at least for 16 months. And if you are doing a master's, the first 2 points are same. And the last point is you should be in the community for entire length of your course. This exemption does not apply to international graduate if your credentials is from a program where studying English or French made up more than half of your program. This means that studying English or French should be less than 50% of entire program. Second point is distant learning made up more than half of the program, which means that you should be attending in person all the classes more than 50%. And last point is you received a scholarship or fellowship that requires you to return to your home country to use what you earned. Prove your language ability by taking an approved test. So let's click on this and see what are the approved tests. Language test we accept. For English, there are 3. So first one is CELPIP, Canadian English Language Proficiency Index Program. Second is IELTS, International English Language Test System. Last is PTE, Personal Test of English. For French, it is TEF, Canada, and the second option is TCF, Canada. So what is the minimum score you need? Before going to minimum score needed in test, let's see this table. This table shows the comparison between CLB level and respective English or French test. For example, if you're giving IELTS, so click on IELTS. And here there is a comparison of CLB level and the IELTS scoring. Now we will go up and see what is the minimum requirement is needed for RCIP. If your current job is of tier 0 and 1, you need CLB 6. And CLB 6 means this. You need 5 in reading, 5.5 in writing, 5.5 in listening, and 5.5 in speaking. Similarly, if your current job in tier 2 or tier 3, you need CLB 5, which is this. And for tier 4 and 5, you need CLB 4, which is this one. And your test result should be less than 2 years old. The candidate should have a Canadian education credential or the foreign equivalent. What counts an Canadian education credential or the foreign national equivalent? We'll click on this. If you have studied in Canada, you have to produce your certificates. Or if you have studied outside Canada, you have to do ECA, which is Education Credential Assessment. One of the famous organizations who do ECA is WES, and there are few more. So the report should be less than 5 years old, and the report should show you completed an foreign credential equivalent to Canadian secondary school or high school diploma, or Canadian post-secondary certificate or diploma or degree. And the last point of eligibility criteria is your funds. Prove you have enough money to support your transition and your family transition into the community. Let's click here to see more information about funds. So these are the ways you can produce your documentation related to funds. But as of now, we are more interested in how much fund you have to show. It is depend on your family members. So if you are single, Not married, you have to show 7,963. So if you are married but no children, you have to show 9,692. And similarly, if you have family members of 3, 4, 5, you have to show these amount in your bank accounts. So that was the last step of eligibility criteria. So we have seen the eligibility criteria of RCIP. And if you are eligible, these are the next steps, which says get a job offer, which means if you have a job offer letter from one of the employer and you can apply for the city for recommendation letter. Once you get the recommendation letter from the city, then you can go to the next step, which is apply for permanent resident with the federal. And these are the next step. After you apply, what you have to do, then settling in Canada and its optional work permit. So let's click on get a job offer. Before you apply for permanent resident through this pilot, you need a job offer. Each community has designated certain employer to make job offers. Check their website to see the list of designated employers. This clarifies that each community will come up with designated employers which are participating in RCIP, and your job offer letter should be from those employers. So if you select this drop down, and you can see all 14 communities name here, and if I select Susan Mary and say continue, this community hasn't launched their website yet. We will link it when it's ready. So as of now, you cannot apply for RCIP. Of course, we are waiting for more information from the city. Currently, I am on Susan Mary City's website, and they have provided some information about RCIP on this page, which says RCIP offers permanent residence to skilled workers who want to work and settle in our rural community. We were chosen as one of the communities that showed they can support and benefit from skilled migrants. We will approve certain employer to hire for jobs that they can't fill with local workers. So I'm assuming city will produce a list of employers, and only those employers offer letter will be accepted for RCIP. And there are few links. This is for RCIP that we looked, and this link is for RNIP. And if we click on applicant here, which is the same page of RNIP, yes, and all the same steps. So the page is not updated. We have to wait for more information on their website. So thanks for watching this video. That's everything in this video. I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, take care.